Dear students, today we shall take up the next topic, that is polyploidy. We were discussing the chromosomal changes and we have discussed structural chromosomal changes, and then we have discussed the numerical chromosomal changes. In the numerical chromosomal changes you have discussed aneuploidy, and today you are going to discuss the polyploidy. Polyploidy is basically a type of euploidy. So, let us see what it is. When there is a change in the entire set of the chromosome, that is called the euploidy. Entire set is designated by x, and this x is also equal to n. We shall see what is the difference between them. So, presence of one single set, if only one set of chromosome is present, it is called monoploidy. If you are having the two set of the chromosome in an individual or in a cell, that it is called the diploidy, and the individual is called diploid. So, you are having the two set 2x, which is also represented by 2n, and polyploidy is a condition in the euploidy when you are having more than two set of the chromosome in a cell. There are two major terms, one is haploid and other is monoploid. Let us see the difference between them. Haploid is a condition which is having half of the somatic cell number. Half of the somatic cell number. Normally somatic cell number, that means the cells of the soma of the body, that means the cells other than the germ cell line or the gametic cell. The somatic cell of the body generally have the two set of the chromosome. So, half of them means one set of chromosome. So, that is called as haploid and is designated by n. Monoploid is a single complete set of chromosome and is designated by x. Now, let us try to differentiate between, because the haploid and monoploid, because haploid is again a single set and monoploid is again single set, then what is the difference? Now, if the organism is diploid, then haploid and monoploid are same thing, but if the individual is polyploid, then haploid and monoploid are different thing. Let us consider an example. For example, you are having a rice which is diploid. So, diploid means having two sets of chromosome. So, rice is having two set of chromosome, that is 2n is equal to 2x is equal to 24. And if you are looking at this diploid, here the haploid and the monoploid both will have the one set, because half of the somatic chromosome number is again having one set, and otherwise also it is having the one set. So, here in case of the diploid condition, the haploid and monoploid is same, that is both n and x will be 12. Whereas, let us look at the hexaploid wheat. Hexaploid wheat is so called as it will have the 6 set of chromosome. So, somatic number of the hexaploid wheat is 42. So, because haploid is the half of the somatic number, so it means haploid condition of this hexaploid wheat will be 21 chromosome, whereas actually as far as the set of the chromosome are concerned, it has the 7 set of chromosome, because 7 set of the chromosomes are repeated 6 times, and then the wheat is hexaploid. So, now you are able to distinguish between the haploid and the monoploid in case of the polyploidy, that the haploid are basically just half of the somatic chromosome number. Say for example, wheat is having 21 out of 42, whereas if you look at the set of the chromosome, then it is having the 7 chromosome in one set. So, 7 set are repeated 6 times and the wheat has become the hexaploid. Thus, monoploid can be haploid. In case of diploid condition, the monoploid and haploid are same. So, monoploid can be haploid, but look at the polyploid, then you will be able to know that all haploids cannot be monoploid. Say for example, in polyploid, haploid is 21, that is the half of the somatic chromosome number, whereas in actual if you look at 7 sets of chromosome are present in the hexaploid wheat. So, let us look at the polyploidy. Now, as I have already discussed, organisms having more than 2 set of the chromosome are called polyploidy. So, if you are having 3 set represented by 3x, it is triploid. If you are having the 4 set, it is tetraploid. If 5 sets of chromosomes are present, it is pentaploid. If 6 sets are present, it is hexaploid, and so on. Now, the question is how the polyploids are produced. Sometimes they are produced spontaneously, but sometimes they may be induced by treating the seeds and the plants or the cells with certain chemicals, like you have the colchicine. Colchicine is a chemical derived from Colchicum autumnale, and another chemical which is responsible for inducing the polyploidy is acetylnephthene. Now, both of these drugs basically what they do, they arrest and break the spindle. Like you can see in the normal mitosis, the spindle apparatus is formed which distribute the duplicated chromosome into 2 cells. Say for example, here you can see that this spindle apparatus will bring there are 4 chromosomes which are present in duplicated condition. When these chromatid will be separated, it will be 8 chromatids, 4 on this side, 4 on this side, and this spindle apparatus will bring them toward the opposite pole, that is 4 on this side, 4 on this side, which will be distributed into 2 cells, that is 4 to this cell and 4 to this cell. But if you treat the cell with the colchicine, what will happen? Spindle apparatus will not be formed. So, what will happen if the spindle apparatus will not be formed? All the cells will have the 8 number of the chromosomes, that is double than that of the original parent. So, it is how that polyploidy is induced. Now, you can imagine that this cell was diploid, but it has become the tetraploid now. So, you can treat the cells with 0.01% to 0.5% colchicine. So, either you soak the seed in the colchicine, or you can inject the colchicine in the seeds, or you soak the buds of the plant in the shoot apex, then the resulting cells coming from the seed, coming from the buds or the apex will all have the polyploidy. That means the mitotic apparatus will not be formed in the colchicine treated seeds and the buds and the apex. As a result, the resulting cell will have the double the number of the chromosome as compared to the parent cell. Polyploidy can also be produced by union of unreduced diploid. Now, you know that the cell when form the gametes during meiosis, it normally reduce the number of chromosomes. Say for example, in the parent cell if they were the 2 n is equal to 4, that means 4 chromosomes were present, then in gamete they must be 2, but due to error all the 4 have gone to this. So, that means they have not reduced, they are n reduced diploid gamete, and when this diploid gamete will fuse with the haploid gamete, now here the reduction has taken place. So, out of 6 you are having only 3 chromosome, and when both of these will meet, they will hybridize to form the zygote or the hybrid, which so polyploidy can take place even if egg is fertilized by more than one male gamete. This condition may also happen. Say for example, though the female gamete, say for example, has been formed by normal meiotic division, and the male gamete is also normal. Say for example, instead of 4, if 2 chromosome will be there, but the 2 sperm will fuse with the one gamete, one egg, it will lead to the formation of again the triploid condition. So, how the polyploids are induced, you can imagine from them. In addition to it, during mitosis in a diploid somatic cell, say for example, in the normal mitosis, cell breaks and the 2 nucleus are separated apart. Say for example, it was having 3 chromosome. So, the 3 chromosomes in one nucleus and 3 chromosome in other nucleus, they were separated into 2 cells, each cell is having 3 chromosome. But if cytokinesis does not take place, what will happen, that both of the nucleus will be present within the same cell. As a result, now this cell will have the 6 number of chromosome. So, this is another condition, that even if the spindle apparatus has formed, the chromosomes have been distributed to the 2 nucleus to opposite pole, but the cytokinesis, that is the division of cytoplasm, has not taken place. As a result, again you will have the polyploid condition, and once the polyploid cells are formed, their normal division gives rise to polyploidy. So, once the cells like this are formed, then these cells will divide and this polyploidy will be continued. As far as the types of polyploidy are concerned, you are having major 3 types of polyploidy: autopolyploidy, allopolyploidy and segmental allopolyploidy. Let us look at the autopolyploidy. As now the name itself indicate, auto means self, that means it will have the same basic set of chromosome. Say for example, if an individual having the diploid condition as 2 set of chromosome represented by capital A, if the same set, that means another capital A will be added to it, it will be autotriploid. Like you can see the watermelon, sugar beet, tomato, grapes, banana, all these are the autotriploids. And if the another same set of chromosome, that is A, is added to it, it will become the autotetraploid. Rye, corn, red clover, marigold, grapes, apples, etc., they are basically the autotetraploid. Autopolyploidy offspring is derived from a single parental species. So, single parent species, that means same species is adding the same set of the chromosome. So, the autopolyploidy is achieved. So, in the autopolyploid you may have the autotriploid. Autotriploid will have the 3 sets of same set of the chromosome. So, they are represented by 3n. They are formed as a result of, so how the autotriploid will be formed, if a diploid gamete will fuse with the haploid gamete. So, you will have the 3n, 2n from this and 1n from this. Similarly, if same egg will be fused with 2 male gamete, so egg will have the 1n, the sperm will also have, the male gamete will also have the 1n, but because the 2 sperm have fused with the egg, so 2n will come from there, again it will be autotriploid. Then it is also formed by the fusion of haploid male gamete with diploid egg. Say for example, egg is somehow, because of the error, is diploid, it is not haploid egg. As a result, once the sperm will fuse with it, then the another n will come, another set of the chromosome will come, so it will become the autotriploid. As far as the characteristic feature of autotriploid are concerned, they are more vigorous, that means they have very high strength. They are normally sterile, that they will not produce the offspring, their seeds will not be you can say the normally functional seeds, they will not be able to produce the new individual. So, normally seeds are not formed many a times. So, these plants are propagated vegetative through the vegetative method, that means like layering, like cutting, etc. They are valuable commercials due to their robust nature. So, commercially they are valuable because these plants, they have robust nature, they have high strength, they can survive in adverse environment conditions, they have better yield and they have seedless fruits. So, if your aim is to get a fruit of high quality, so you must go for the fruits which will have less seed. So, you will have more uh, uh, thing to be to eat from the same fruit which will have the which will not have the seed as compared to the fruit which will have the seed. So, seedless fruits are again the result of this autodiploid condition. If you look at the cytology of the autotriploid, you will see that there is no way that all these chromosomes will orient normally. They will form the trivalent, and this trivalent may have the two conditions, that is the during the meiosis 1 the two chromosome will go to one cell and one chromosome will go to one cell. Here they are looking like the two, yellow is again having the 2 and red is having 2, because you know that during the interphase stage each chromosome is duplicated. So, again once they will divide, you will have this condition that each cell either the cell will be diploid or the cell will be haploid. So, they will form the uneven type of gamete, half of them are haploid, half of them are diploid condition. Then autotetraploid. Autotetraploid means when the genome is present 4 times, that means 4 set of chromosomes, or you can say the autotetraploid are basically the double than the normal diploid. They appear by one of the following methods, that is, if you fuse two diploid gametes, these two diploid gametes will not be formed normally, but if by error the gametes are diploid, you fuse them, you will get the tetraploid, because diploid will have the 2 set and the tetraploid will have the 4. And it is also found due to duplication of somatic chromosomes. Say for example, if mitotic division will not takes place after the duplication of the chromosome during the interphase, then each cell will have the tetraploid condition. Then the characteristics of autotetraploid are that the tetraploid individual will have the increased cell size, that is called the Gigas effect. They have a very high variation in their phenotypic characteristic feature. They have the great adaptability in the environment. They will have the great resistance to disease. Flower will be large and more showy. They will be looking very nice. Then they show the tendency toward perenniality. That means the tetraploid perennial plant, you know, which grows for the seasons only, and then they will disappear in the autumn and will reappear again in the spring season. Then these plants will have the low fertility generally, and if you look at the cytology, because they are the tetraploid, so you are having the 4 chromosome set of the 4 chromosomes, the 4 sets of the chromosome. So, during the meiosis the 2 cell will have the diploid chromosome number, because 2 will go to one cell and other 2 will go to other cell. Then let us have the limitations of the autopolyploidy, that what are the limitations. Autopolyploids are genetically unstable and sterile. So, this is the limitation, that they are unstable and sterile, because you always want a crop which must be fertile and which must be stable. Effect of autopolyploidy cannot be predicted, because sometime it will give other type of result, and at the other time in other plants, in other individuals it will give other type of results. So, same type of result you will not find always in all the organism if they are autopolyploid. The large size of the autopolyploid is usually because of the higher water content. So, it means if your fruit is larger size, it will have more water. So, it means it will not have the more dry matter that you want to eat. So, it means they are not of so good quality in crops, the crops which you grow for the seeds, then auto-polyploid will not be good because they have the poor seed sets. And sometime even in your crop undesirable characters may appear, like sometimes they have the very weak stem and very irregular fruit size, which is not good for marketing. Like weak stem is in case of the auto-polyploid of the grapes, and if the auto-polyploid is watermelon, then it will have the irregular fruit size. Then fertility, because they are normally sterile, so fertility can be increased by hybridization, but it will takes very long time, years to complete this process. So, again it is a very lengthy, so this is a limitation. The growth rate is very slow, so flowering is also delayed, though they are large in size, they are very showy, but the rate is very slow and flowering is delayed. It does not come early during the spring season. Many chromosomal irregularities may appear in the auto-polyploids. That means, sometimes the chromosome will lag behind, it will not be distributed in any cell during meiosis, it will remain in between and it will be lost. And sometimes you may have the univalent, sometimes you have the bivalent, sometimes you have the quadrivalent, so on and so forth. And the auto-polyploid beyond auto-tetraploid will show the abnormalities like wrinkled leaves, dwarfism, etc. It means auto-polyploid above the level of tetraploid are not advisable at all. Now, the second type of polyploidy is allopolyploid. Allopolyploid, allo means different. When polyploid is formed by having the sets from two different species, it is called allopolyploid. For example, you are having a species X and a species Y, the two different species represented by two different sets of chromosomes. So, for example, species X is having set A and species Y is having set B. Both are diploid, so A is also present in double, B is also present in double. When they will form the gamete, that means they will give one chromosome from each set, then the F1 hybrid will have the diploid individual, but one set from one species, other set from other species. And because this is diploid, in order to get a polyploid, that too allopolyploid, we have to double this chromosome number. So, if this species is treated with the colchicine treatment, what will happen that chromosomes will double in the interface, but colchicine treatment will not lead the cytokine, will not distribute the chromosome towards the opposite pole. As a result, each cell will have the double amount of the chromosome, double amount of set. So, diploid will become the tetraploid. Now, this tetraploid is allotetraploid, as both the set of the chromosomes are coming from the two different type of the species, and this is also called as amphiploid. And because it is tetraploid, so you can also call it amphidiploid tetraploid, because each set is diploid, and then in total it is tetraploid, because 4 set of chromosomes are there, and no, this will be fertile. So, when you are getting the organisms, the polyploid organisms, after duplicating the F1 hybrid, after doubling the chromosome of the F1 hybrid, which was arisen from the two different type of species, then it is called as allopolyploid. Characteristics of allopolyploid: normally, because allopolyploid is formed from the two different species, so normally the two different species cannot interbreed. The reason being that the chromosomes, different chromosomes, when they come together in the zygote, they will not pair with one another. So, offsprings produced by such union are typically sterile. It is because of this reason that they are sterile, because they each chromosome is not getting its homologue chromosome, because the chromosomes are coming from the different species. And if cytokinesis fails over there in the hybrid, then what will happen, that the chromosomes were already doubled in the interphase, but cytokinesis is failed. So, the chromosome will the same cell will have the double amount of the chromosome. So, the each chromosome will get the its counterpart now, and now it will become the fertile. If the hybrid interbreeds with member of other parent species, all the chromosomes from both parent species will be paired. Now, another condition for getting the pairing is that, say for example, this was the individual, this was the hybrid which was derived from the two different species, and because it was having 7 chromosomes, so each chromosome was not having its counterpart, each chromosome was not having its pair, so it was sterile. Uh, but when it has formed a gamete, and or it was crossbreed with one of its parent, so once 3 chromosome more from the parent were coming, so in total you can look at now the 2n is equal to 10, that each chromosome is getting its pair. So, now it is allopolyploid, but it is fertile now, because each chromosome is having its pair. Allopolyploids are more prevalent than autopolyploids because they do not show polysomic inheritance. Polysomic inheritance means they will not show the multivalent formation, because normally always they will be fertile when a pair of the chromosome will be there, because when there are more than 2 chromosomes, they are coming from different species, so they will not pair normally. So, once they will not pair, they will not form the multivalent. We have a classical example of allopolyploid, that means a organism and a plant formed from 2 different species. We are having a radish which is called Raphanus sativum. We are having a cabbage which is called Brassica oleracea. Both are having 18 pair of chromosome. So, radish is represented by the R and Brassica is represented by B. So, once they were crossed with each other, then the F1 diploid hybrid was having 9 chromosome from the Raphanus 9R and 9 chromosome from Brassica, which is 9B. So, it was diploid individual, and but it was sterile. Why sterile? Because these 9 chromosome, the R chromosome were not able to pair with the B chromosome, because both the chromosomes are coming from the different species. But it was found that some of the F1 hybrid were fertile. So, when the cells of the fertile individuals were seen, then it was found that they were having 36 number of chromosome, because somehow these 9R and the 9B were doubled, probably because of the absence of cytokinesis after the duplication of the chromosome. Another classical example is of the Triticum spelta. So, this is the hexaploid wheat. So, Triticum spelta was synthesized by the scientists, say for example, E.S. McFadden and E.R. Sears and H. Kihara in 1946. So, it was produced by crossing Triticum dicoxide or tetraploid wheat, which was having total number of chromosome 28, with Aegilops squarosa, which is called goat grass, which was a diploid having the 2n is equal to 14. So, when it was crossed, the F1 hybrid were having 21 chromosome, that is 14 chromosome from Triticum dicoxide and 7 chromosome from Agilops squarosa. It was a triploid, but this triploid hybrid was sterile. Once it was treated with the colchicine, then hexaploid Triticum spelta was derived, and once this was derived, it was compared with the primitive wheat and was found exactly similar with the primitive wheat. So, it was found that yes, the primitive wheat has been derived in the nature because of the crossing like this. So, they have got in evidence that how the species have evolved by combining the genome of the two different species. Allopolyploids have been more successful as crop species as compared to the autopolyploids. Many of our present day crop species are basically the allopolyploids, and it is estimated that 1/3 of the angiosperms are basically the allopolyploids. Allopolyploids have three major applications in crop improvement. That means, you can improve the crop by bridging the species. Bridging the species means uh, by transferring the characters from different species, because they always bring the genome from two different species. They also form the new crop in this way, and because you combine the genome from different species, it means you have a great variety of the genetic base, that is called the widening of the genetics base. Morphological characteristic feature of allopolyploids are they show different natural distribution as compared to their progenitor. So, their distribution on the earth is different. They have better adaptability, they have good strength, so called the good degree of robustness, and they show the occurrence of apomixis, that means development of the individual with by using the sexual organs, but not by the union of the gametes. There are some limitations of allopolyploids also, like allopolyploids may exhibit many defects like low fertility, cytogenetic instability, and many others. The effect of allopolyploids cannot be predicted. Sometime you will get one type of individual, at the other time you will get other type of individual. Synthetic allopolyploids are to be improved or can be improved through extensive breeding, but you know the extensive breeding is a very lengthy process. So, you will not get the crop within a short period of time. So, vast majority of allopolyploids are valueless for agriculture purpose, because they will not show always the good result, only few will show you the good result. So, only few are the promising. Then the third type of polyploid is segmental allopolyploid. Segmental allopolyploid means sometimes when the species, two different species cross with each other and the F1 hybrid is formed, and it was found that the F1 hybrid was viable only because the chromosome from two different species were not totally different. They were having some segments of the chromosomes which were resembling with one another. So, it means the segments of the chromosome were resembling with each other from different species. So, it is called segmental allopolyploid. They were called so by the Steben in 1943 and 1950. So, segmental allopolyploid are basically intermediate between autopolyploid and allopolyploid. Allopolyploid are those individuals which have total different set of chromosome, they are not have any sort of resemblance with them, whereas auto will have the resemblance 100% resemblance, because the segmental will have only the segments of the chromosome resembling. So, you can say them they are the intermediate between the two. It is also believed that most of the naturally occurring polyploid are neither true autopolyploid nor true allopolyploid, but are rather segmental allopolyploid, because this is most probable answer to the mixing of the genome from different species, because the totally different genome from different species will not normally come together and will not make the individual survivable in the F1 hybrid. So, definitely there is some resemblance in some portion of the genome which is called the segmental allopolyploidy, which leads to the F1 hybrid survivable. Our common hexaploid bred wheat is also segmental allopolyploid. So, it means it has the genome ABD which is homologous. Homologous means some portion of the genome is resembling with the other genome, say for example, with B and B with D and D with V and vice versa. So, not whole the genome. If whole the genome is resembled, it is autopolyploid. If totally they are not resembling, it is allopolyploid, but if some portion is resembling, it is called the homologous condition.